Chef RPG is an indie game that promises a slow, cozy life away from the city as, well, a chef. It's still in its early access, but it already showed a lot of promise when we featured it in our video on farming sims with a twist. Imagine the surprise on our faces when we found out that the farming is only a tiny part of this game. I guess we should have known better since its title flat out tells us that it's mainly about cooking. Anyway, despite its early access status, Chef RPG brings some very interesting things to the plate. Will Chef RPG satiate your appetite? Well, let's find out. The story starts with our protagonist on the train to White Ash Harbor. Our protagonist came from the bustling metro of Billboard City to this quaint little town to revive a rundown restaurant by the name of Le Sequoia. This restaurant used to be run by one of the protagonist's teachers during their time in culinary school, Chef Cousteau. Cousteau has entrusted you to bring Le Sequoia back to its former glory and make White Ash Harbor a culinary destination with the help of White Ash Harbor's townspeople, of course. The story follows a fairly familiar intro to another very beloved cozy indie game, Stardew Valley. Tired of the hustle and bustle of the city, the protagonist moves to a small town in order to make something of themselves, and all that. While having very similar intros, Chef RPG does things quite differently compared to Stardew Valley. Your protagonist in this one has more backstory compared to Stardew's. In Stardew, your backstory is that you were a corporate slave and you had a dead grandpa. But Chef RPG gives you more to work with, like how you used to be in culinary school, work for an iron-fisted boss, having a mentor, and even having friends. Now that I think of it, it's kinda sad no friend or family visited you in Stardew, huh? You actually even talk during important cutscenes. While we're usually supposed to roleplay and project ourselves onto the protagonist, I think it's good that Chef RPG gives us more to be invested in our player character. I definitely wanted to see more of our character's backstory as I was playing. Speaking of characters, another highlight of Chef RPG is its colorful cast of townspeople. As you emerge from the train, you're greeted by Hazel, a somewhat eccentric android who runs a boba stand. She serves as your guide as you begin your first steps on your journey to restore Le Sequoia. As you go through her tutorial quests, you're subsequently introduced to the other important members of the White Ash Harbor community. They're all unique and have their own little personality quirks that make them stand out and endearing. As Chef RPG is only early access, it still has more potential to grow story-wise and character-wise. We understand if you're not the type to purchase a game if it's not complete. But for those on the fence, for being a version 0.5 early access, it's got a lot going for it. At the start of the game, you're asked to choose what season you want to start in. This choice also affects your starting difficulty, with spring being the easiest choice due to the abundance of resources, and winter being the hardest because of the scarcity of resources. Shortly after, you're given a character customization where you can change your appearance and choose whether you want to be an android or a human. There's also a skill selection that allows you to allocate skill points and your dish specialization. I went with rôtisseur. It means that I specialized in meat-based dishes, and this then unlocked 3 meat-based recipes at the start of the game. This happened shortly after the game starts, so the game right off the bat gives you so many options to tailor your gameplay to your preferences. After doing a few tasks to introduce you to the town, you get to the main course of the gameplay, your restaurant. This includes tidying it up, making it look pretty, hiring employees, planning your menu, and making sure that you have enough ingredients before you open up shop. In order to do all those things, you make use of the various shops and facilities available in town. You buy ingredients and recipes from the markets, furniture from the shop, renovations from the town hall, and so on. By going around the shops, you also get the chance to make friends with the townspeople. During your errands, you can talk to the various people manning the shops as well as take on requests from the townsfolk through the notice boards around town. Doing all these will increase your relationships with the people of White Ash Harbor, making you feel more part of the town over time. If you want to be somewhat self-sustaining, you can also forage for ingredients yourself and hunt your own game. Once you've got your restaurant furnished, your refrigerator stocked up, your employees ready, and your menu set, it's time to open up shop. When you open your restaurant to customers, managing your staff's stamina and cooking are your main assignments. When your staff runs out of stamina, they stop moving for a period of time to rest up. While there will be ways to keep them topped up on stamina later on in the game, knowing when to close up shop because your employees cannot efficiently work anymore is an important part of managing your restaurant. The cooking portion of restaurant management calls to mind games like Cooking Mama or the Unexpected Fate cooking game, today's menu for the EMEA family. The cooking portion will have you play a little mini game. Each cooking appliance will have a different game mechanic. The better you do at the mini game, the better quality food you will produce. At some point, you may get tired of repeating these mini games over and over, but thankfully, there is an auto-cook toggle when you're not feeling like it. However, the auto-cook will randomize your dish's quality depending on your cooking stat, so it still gives you an incentive to actually participate in the mini games from time to time. Cooking, gathering, hunting, and interacting with people all contribute to your character's level. Increasing your level allows you to allocate more points to your stats and also gives you the points to activate certain skills. These skills vary from ones that can help you in the kitchen to ones that can give you more damage to the various animals that you hunt. The gameplay feels like a flavorful blend of Stardew Valley, Diner Dash, and Cooking Mama. And for me, it has a certain addictiveness to it, an addictiveness that I felt back when I first started playing Stardew Valley. I spent quite a lot of hours on Stardew Valley, and if Chef RPG continues to improve on and expand its gameplay with subsequent updates, we think it has the potential to go the distance. The only thing that it needs is controller support. Chef RPG is a comfy game, perfect for sitting back and relaxing on your chair, and that's a little hard to do on the mouse and keyboard. Thankfully, they're working on controller support and will be adding it soon. Chefs often say that presentation is just as important as taste, as we eat first with our eyes. The visuals of Chef RPG are definitely akin to a well-plated dish at a 5-star restaurant. One of the first things that caught my interest was the beautiful pixel art presented in the trailer, and now that the game is out, it does not disappoint. The town of White Ash Harbor is brimming with life and creativity, with every shop feeling distinct and full of personality. The town isn't the only thing that looks beautiful. The wilderness surrounding the town is also very captivating and beautifully done. The design for the townspeople is just as full of creativity and personality as the town they are living in. While the sound effects could use a little more polish, the background music definitely hits all the right notes. It captures that welcoming, cozy, rural town vibe that fits perfectly with White Ash Harbor. I can listen to the background music all day as I gather ingredients, decorate my restaurant, mingle with the townspeople, and cook for my customers. While Chef RPG is still in its early access stage, it already has a lot to offer for players looking for a restaurant management experience in a small, comfy town surrounded by nature. It provides an addictive gameplay experience of gathering ingredients and recipes, socializing with your neighbors, and running a restaurant. Right now, it's available for early access on Steam for $20 US. Being in early access, we can't really say that the value for money is there since you're basically still paying for an incomplete game. But at the same time, we see so much potential for this game if it does get updated over time that we think that there's still an argument to be made for getting it. So, that being said, we're giving Chef RPG an 84. So that was our review for Chef RPG. But enough about us, what do you think? Are you the type of gamer who does not touch an early access game? Or maybe you like to support them to see what they're capable of achieving in the future? What do you think about Chef RPG? Feel free to let us know in the comments below. Like if you liked, subscribe for more video game related content, and this has been Game 8 signing off.